Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Onyinye and I'm a fibre artist. I post videos showing the process of my art, where I get my creativity from, but I also like to post videos like this where I talk whilst I'm knitting or crocheting. I mainly talk about things that I want to talk about, like my hobbies. I share my life experiences and also talk about my experience being a lesbian that is estranged from their family. So it's a bit of a mixed bag of things here. If any of that sounds interesting to you, feel free to stick around. Also, I'm fundraising to get top surgery, hopefully by the end of this year. So if you have anything to spare, I would really appreciate it. If you're someone who's currently typing a think piece about how I shouldn't mutilate myself, or you're telling me about how you used to struggle with dysphoria, but then you learn to ignore it, and you think that I should do the same, do us all a favour and just off. I'm not interested in what you have to say. I don't feel any sort of kinship with you, and I'm just going to keep deleting your comments. So today, whilst I'm talking, I'm going to be working on the colour changing scarf that I'm making for my girlfriend. This is what it looks like so far. If you've watched my other videos, you know that yes, it does have cat pee on the end of it, but other than that, it's going really well. On track to be finished by winter. I do have something else that I could work on, this massive jumper, and I would be working on it, but it's currently drying. So I finished the front panel and the back panel of it, and I've attached them together. And for me personally, I just like to wash those two pieces when they're attached when I'm making jumpers, just to get an idea of how it looks and give the fibres a chance to relax and just see how it all looks so far. So that's still drying, so I'm not able to work on the sleeves. I like to knit the sleeves directly onto the pieces instead of knitting them separately, so that's why I'm not working on that today. But it kind of works out in my favour because it means no staring at a complicated colourwork chart, and it also means I have to do less editing to get out all the lulls where I'm just counting stitches and trying to understand what I've done. So today we're just working on a simple scarf. And in this video, I just basically want to put out some of the goals that I have for my art and for my creativity, and I guess just share them with you guys. Ever since I've started making art the way I do, I just feel like I have so much love for art, and I have so much love for the medium that I use. I have so much love for fibre art, textile art, however you like to refer to it. And I feel like I'm bursting with ideas. I have so many places that I want to take it, and I have so many things that I want to make. And I guess the only thing that limits me is how fast my hand can move and how much time I have to devote to making things. And I think because I'm in that place where I just feel like I'm full of ideas, it does make it hard for me to set a goal and keep my eyes on a path and, you know, have somewhere that I'm reaching for. Especially being an artist in this time right now, where really the main way that you're going to get eyes on what you make is through social media. So I post a lot on my social media. I post basically what I make. Like, that's how, I mean, I'm here on YouTube, so I post what I make and I try to interact with people around my art and things like that. And that's how I get eyes on what it is that I'm doing and how I get more and more people knowing me. You also have to deal with all of the things that come with being present on social media, where you're surrounded by so many other artists, and that's really inspiring, and it feels really cool to be able to see other people who are working on things the same way that you are. But then it's so easy to get swept up by people's ideas, the paths that people are going down on. You see someone that you follow that, you know, you really respect their work, and you see that they're doing something, I don't know, like working on a project or something like that, and then you start thinking, wait, should I be doing something like that? Or what if I should be doing things like that? I don't know how to explain it. It's not necessarily that you just feel like copying everyone, but I think without having clear goals and having somewhere that you're hoping to get to and having things that will root you on the path that you want to be, it is really easy to get swept up by the tide of social media, or just by people that you respect, that you see around you. And I think for me, sometimes I get apprehensive about sharing my goals with other people. I think that's just the type of person that I am. I don't know, I just never want to talk about something until it's done and actually is happening. And I do think that there's merit in that. You know, there is merit in keeping some of your goals to yourself and keeping it close to your chest. Like I said, with social media, you have access to all these people around you. You have access to what they're doing, their processes, their thoughts, their feelings. And it does feel good to be able to keep some of your goals untainted by other people's opinions of them, other people's thoughts, or them saying, oh, I might have done it this way, or just people's input sometimes can feel really suffocating and really overwhelming. So I do think that I enjoy keeping some of the things that I know I want to achieve to myself, so that I don't have to think about other people's opinions of them or deal with people sharing their opinions. But then at the same time, there are some goals that I know I am keeping to myself because I'm scared of being seen failing. I'm scared of people knowing that I want this thing so hard and then watching me not get it. Those are the ones that I was sharing today. So when I'm setting my goals, again, to make sure that I'm not getting swept up by what I think I should be doing and swept up by what I see other people doing and social media and things like that, I like to set my goals and relate them to qualities or aspects that are really important to me in my art. And I think that'll make a lot more sense when I start giving specific examples. It's easy to be like, oh, I'd really like to do this, but then it's only when you start to ask yourself, why is it that this is a goal of mine? What would achieving it mean to me? That you're able to see what your motivations are for that goal. So I think with every goal, I try to dissect it a little bit to make sure that my motivations are always things that matter to me and not just because it's something I feel like I should be doing. Let me actually give you some examples so you can understand what I mean. So one of my biggest goals at the moment would be to be commissioned to make a mural. And when I say mural, it doesn't even have to be necessarily a jumper or vest, like the things that I make, though I do think that'd be super cool. But it could even just be a square. I would really love for a brand or a business or a company to commission me to make a mural that would be displayed in their office or their place of business, whatever that may be. When I think about that goal, the reason why I would really like to achieve that is because I think it would mean a lot to me. It's for a business or a company or whatever. Have a look at the things that I make and to just trust me to make something that would align with their image. I think it would be so cool if they trusted my vision and my art enough to be able to allow me to represent them in such a physical way. Walking into, I don't know, for example, a hotel or walking into a restaurant, the things that are on the walls, they're the first thing you see, like your eyes are drawn to them. So I think it would literally be insane if someone trusted my art enough to be able to say, okay, here you go represent us, go make something that's going to be one of the first things people see when they walk into my place of business. So I think that would be super cool. That's been a big one of mine, I think. For me, specifically with my medium, with fiber art, I think people have this idea of its place. When people think fiber art, they're thinking making things to wear, and I really think that's cool. And I mean, I make things for people to wear, but I think also with my designs, I really want to challenge the idea of what people think of when they think fiber art, what people think of when they think knitting. Being able to do a mural would, for me, be putting fiber art in a place that other people wouldn't expect to see it. And I think that sort of subversion is really important to me, and is basically at the heart of everything I make. Making a mural would just be another way of doing that. And also it would be just so cool for so many people to see what I've made and for their minds to be open a little bit more to what you can actually do with knitting and with crocheting. This one probably isn't a surprise, but I would really love to be in a gallery exhibit, whether that's with other artists or solo. I would love to do both. Not too long ago, I went to see the Unravel textile exhibit here in the UK at the Barbican, and it was part of a paid collaboration with the Barbican for me to make a video about it. It was incredible seeing all the different textile artists and just reading through their explanations of their work. Obviously, I've had that sort of gallery experience. I've been to art galleries before, but I hadn't really been to one that was specifically textile art. The fact that I was able to look through the different works and, you know, talk to my girlfriend about which one was my favourite, which one really spoke to me, and we just had that, it was just that experience of seeing textile art in that way and being able to treat it like other art, to just be able to see it in the context of other people's work as well, the variety of different type of art even within just textile art. It was incredible, and it made me think that I would really love to see the things that I make in the context of other amazing artists. I would love that experience of, you know, people coming in and being able to see my work and being able to pick their favourite, being able to talk about what they thought each one meant, being able to talk about that myself and explain what each piece means to me. And obviously this is something that's going to be a little bit more in the future, because I don't have enough that I've made to show, I think. It made me really excited going to see Unravel. It made me see myself being in the position of those artists, and it was really cool. It made me realise that's something that I want for myself. My next goal might seem a little bit rogue for some of you guys. I would really love to teach an in-person workshop. It might seem not seem weird, but it might be a bit surprising to hear that from me, because I don't post educational content. I don't post tutorial type content, and I don't want to. I often get so many questions of people asking me to show them how to do things, like how to knit or how to do this, and I just always end up directing people to YouTube or online, because that's where I learn. Mainly because that's not really what I want for my platform. I'm not really here to show people how to do things, and it's not in a gatekeeping way, but it's more so in the sense that I just want to show people what I make. I don't want to teach people how to knit or teach people how to crochet. So I guess it might be a bit surprising for me to say that I want to teach a workshop, but I think for me it's a little bit different to posting videos saying, you know, this is how you purl, this is how you knit, this is how you do ribbing. I don't know, I think I would really love to connect with people in person around what I'm making. I'd really love to demo part of whatever piece I'm working on in front of other people. I mean, I'm not sure how many people would come. Like I said, a lot of these goals are a little bit in the future when I have more people who know what I make, and I guess my reach is a bit bigger. Since colour work is such a huge part of what I make, I think that's probably what I'd see myself teaching, just showing people the different ways that I do colour work and being able to explain what is a more intuitive process for me. And again, that's why I don't have any interest in posting tutorial stuff online, because a lot of what I'm doing is just intuitive, and it's just not really something that I think I can explain in a 1-minute video. I think it would be so much better to have it in person and to be able to speak to people who are having issues, explain things. I would enjoy that, yeah. I'd love to demo something in front of people. So far I've done partnerships with 2 brands where they've specifically had me create something for them. I would really love to do more. For example, with the V&A vest, I really enjoyed creating that. I really enjoyed creating the different mock-ups and, you know, sending them to the team and just getting feedback on it. For me, and I'm sure like a lot of other artists, I really like just having complete reign over everything. I like being able to decide what it is that I want to make and to not have to think, oh, does it fit this? Or maybe it should be more like this. I like to just have an idea and be free to just make it. Even in terms of how my art works right now, I make the patterns and then I make the vest and make the jumper. And I often have a lot of people asking for me to release the graphs or to make patterns so that they can recreate it for themselves. But it's just not it's just not what I want to do with my work. So I just don't do it. And that's the kind of free reign, and that's the kind of space that I like to have, to be able to make all the choices that I want to make and all the choices that fit me. But then when it comes to brand partnerships, you're working towards a brief, They give you a description of what it is that they're looking for. They sometimes provide you with examples. They'll show you some of your previous work that you've done and say, oh, something like this, or something, we like this aspect of this. You know, they give you pointers, and there's a general direction that you're supposed to be heading in. Whilst that's not something I want for myself all the time, I have to say that I did enjoy it when I was working with a brand that I felt like really respected me and really respected what I was making, and really respected the fact that I had themes and I had sort of a vision for what I make anyway. They understood my style as it is, and they wanted me for my style, and they weren't really asking me to do anything outside of it. When I was working with a brand like that, that made me feel like, okay, having this brief isn't really that big of a deal. Okay, so I thought about this idea and it doesn't necessarily align with them. That's okay. I can always incorporate that theme or that idea into something else I make. But for this brand specifically, I guess I'll just have to think of something else. It's that sort of loose structure that I really enjoyed. And I think there are benefits to having that structure to work with sometimes, just like it does well for me creatively to have free reign and to be able to just decide what I want to make and decide what my next piece is going to look like. It also does serve me to sometimes have that loose structure and those slight restrictions, because at least for me, it makes me think slightly outside of the box. You know, when I'm making things, I know what I like to make. I know what themes I enjoy. I know what aspects that I always like to include in my work. Part of that is a style, but sometimes it ends up being me playing safe. When you have a brief and you're working for someone else, it makes you think outside of that box and stay away from that safe area that you might get stuck in. So I think I really did enjoy that when I was working with the V&A. In general anyway, I'm not someone that will take partnerships that I don't really feel okay with. So I think I see myself working with brands that won't ask me to do something that has nothing to do with what I've already made, because then it just kind of feels like they're looking for anyone and it could easily just not be me. I would really enjoy more brand partnerships with brands who have seen what I make and they want me to make something for them in the same style. Yeah, I think I learned a lot from the V&A vest making it. It pushed me creatively and it made me see things differently. And those are the kind of experiences that I think will be really good for me artistically. And those are the kind of experiences that I can see helping me grow as an artist. So of course I want more of them. The last goal that I want to talk about is I would really love to collaborate with another artist. When I say artist, I'm not even specifically talking about people within textiles or fiber art. Literally any medium, I think. I think it's so cool, the fact that even within the same medium, no two artists see things the same. I don't know, it's still such a loose idea in my mind, just because I think it will obviously depend on what the other person is also thinking or other people. But the reason why it excites me is because it can go so many different ways and no two artists' process and way of thinking is the same. And when I think about it, we're using different mediums. We could even start off with one idea and then interpret it differently and translate it differently in our respective mediums. I think something like that would really give a unique insight into how each artist's mind works and the difference between them and the similarities between them. As you can tell, I'm getting very excited about this. And I think it would just be so cool to, at least from my side of things, to get that really deep insight into how that other person's mind works and to learn about a different medium, really. There are so many different ways to do art out there. That kind of project would make it so that each person leaves having learned a lot about someone else, having learned a lot about another art form, having learned a lot about themselves. And I think, again, it just makes you think outside of the box and pushes yourself creatively. So that's really something that I really want to do. We could even document the process, like a diary type thing. I have so many ideas about how this would come together, but I think that would be really cool, working with someone on a theme or an idea and seeing what develops from it. So if there are any artists out there, preferably I think of different mediums, who would like to do something cool like that, do reach out to me. I feel like that would be very fun. Those are all the goals that I want to share with you guys today. It feels good for me to put some of this stuff out there in the world because, first of all, closed mouths don't get fed. You never know who could be watching this and resonate with what I'm saying and decide to reach out to me. But also I think there's a lot of power in claiming your goals. I have big goals, but I also have a lot of faith in myself and my work and what I have to offer the world. So I'm really excited to see how it all plays out. And I hope you guys will enjoy coming along for the ride. I look forward to watching this back and feeling proud of myself when I've achieved some of these goals. If any of you guys are interested in seeing what I get up to day to day, you can follow me on some of my other socials. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.